my name's Libby Brown. So today we're going to be interviewing you to discuss your experience during COVID. Today on March 13th, 2023, there is an average of 72 cases reported in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, which is a 47% decrease over the last 2 weeks. Okay, could you please tell us your name and describe your physical appearance?
My name is Jackie Amaya. I'm wearing a red sweatshirt, a flannel, ripped jeans, Nike shoes. My hair is dark brown, and I'm Hispanic female.
Cool, thank you. Where is home for you right now, would you say?
I'm from Northern Virginia, right outside the DC area.
Okay, cool. Are you in college or high school or any education right now?
I'm a sophomore in college.
Okay, cool. Where is your college located?
Queen's University of Charlotte.
Cool. Where were you born?
Born in Arlington, Virginia.
Nice. When did you move to Charlotte?
I moved to Charlotte in 2021 for my first year of college here.
Okay, so you've been here for about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you attend high school?
I attended high school back in Virginia. It was called George C. Marshall High School.
Mm-hmm. So you've had an experience with COVID doing college education and high school education?
Yes, I have.
How was your experience doing school during COVID for high school?
I would like to say that it was pretty difficult, especially because I was pretty academically motivated, and since COVID hit, I feel like part of my motivations had changed.
Okay. So what were some of the things that changed those motivations for you?
Part of it was because since it was not in person anymore, I feel like I couldn't engage in my work as dedicated as I was, and it affected me emotionally as well.
Okay. So it affected like your grades as well as you personally?
A little bit. I feel like I didn't care about my grades as much, and I would do like the bare minimum. So as long as I was doing well enough in school, I didn't really care to overachieve as I usually did.
Right. Is that a big difference to what you were as a student before COVID?
I'd like to say yes, especially if like my parents were to notice and they had said something like, "You're not doing as well as you usually did." And it's like, I would say, well, I don't really care as much as I did before. It doesn't really seem like there's as big of a point as there was before.
Yeah, it was definitely hard for people who weren't students at the time to understand what students were feeling. Do you remember when your school got shut down, or if it got shut down?
It was in March, in the spring of when COVID got announced, and I remember I was playing soccer at the time. Everything was getting shut down, all the sports, high schools, and we were saying, "Oh, we'll be back in 2 weeks," thinking it wasn't going to be serious. 2 weeks turned into like a month, 2 months, and then a year, and we just didn't go back for high school.
That's crazy. So you didn't have like a senior year, or did you go back for senior year?
We had the option to go back, and I had gone back for 1 day, and just the feeling of wearing a mask and seeing everyone separated and only having 10 people in my class and seeing my teacher wearing a mask, it wasn't it for me. I didn't want to be there, so I never went back. It was just pointless for me.
Yeah. What emotions were like running through you when you were like seeing everyone in masks, and how different it was?
It was kind of, again, unmotivating, like to do my work, but it was also kind of, it made me think about how long is this really going to take to find like a cure, or like vaccinations had been a thing at that point, but it was just still isolating in a way, because when you're in school before COVID had even happened, you get to see your friends and talk and see their facial expressions, which makes you feel like a certain way, like you're allowed to feel like serotonin and have like those connections with your teachers and your friends, and seeing people with masks just makes you feel like unmotivated for anything, really.
Yeah. Did your friends also choose to stay home? Did some of them go back, and like your teachers too? Did they go back?
Some of them did go back because they felt like it would help them with their academics and help them be less isolated. And for some people, yeah, I agree that it could have. But for me, it just didn't. I just didn't see a point. And so I just stayed home, did homework and school from home visually.
How was that? Did you like log into school like through a Zoom, or did you like how was online school for you?
Yeah, so we logged in through school, but since it wasn't in person, I didn't pay attention as much. And most of the time, I would just teach myself the material. And it wasn't too bad because, of course, I also made it easier.
Yeah. So how did COVID affect like your extracurriculars associated with school? Like, were you on any sports teams or any clubs that you had to kind of abandon for COVID?
So I was on 2 soccer teams and track, and so for a while those got disbanded and we couldn't do anything. And so sports have a lot to do with mental health and allowing people to express themselves, and those were ways that I was allowed to express myself. So I think a lot of people could relate to the way that I felt and how I became a little depressed. So once that was taken away from me, I felt, like another piece of me was taken away other than, COVID taken away, like academics and isolating myself away from my friends.
Yeah, it's definitely like another hit. Did you ever get to go back to doing those things?
Eventually, yeah, but it was a slow process and it still wasn't the same because you would have to wear masks, and wearing masks while playing sports wasn't the same, and it was incredibly tough to breathe through that mask.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump to kind of like your home and family life now. Like, who did you isolate with, like during those lockdowns and when you weren't at school?
I isolated with my family, really, and that's it.
Okay, cool. So how was some of like your experiences with your family, like being super close to each other in the house and only having each other?
I mean, at times I think people could relate that you butt heads with your family from being around them so much, but it's also some of the best people that you can be around, because some people didn't have anyone to be around with. And I think at that time, my family was the best people to be around because they're very supportive. And
Okay, that's good. Do you think your relationships with them like grew and like developed through COVID, or were they hindered in any way?
I think they mainly stayed around the same. I think we're a pretty close family and we support each other no matter what.
Okay, so I guess that's a positive of COVID then.
Yeah.
So I know you said you were like feeling isolated, especially when you couldn't play sports.
Yeah.
And you also wrote on your hand map that you felt isolated. Was it ever a time you felt isolated from your family, even though you were living with them?
Yeah. So I have lupus, and it's an autoimmune condition that started to affect my heart, especially during COVID. And I had to get surgery around Thanksgiving. And after I had surgery, I couldn't really spend time with my family, which were the people that were supporting me the most. So
I'm sorry. So was that like scary for you? Like, were you in a hospital without them?
yeah, and it's kind of terrifying where you're in like basically like an all white room and you can't really eat, and all you can do is just count the tiles on the ceiling.
It's really rough. I'm really sorry. Do you want to keep talking about this topic, or do you want to move on?
It doesn't matter either or.
So how long until you were able to see your family, and what was the feeling like when you finally got to see them?
It was about like a couple of days, maybe 2 days. And it was kind of like a euphoric feeling, I guess, because I had felt isolated, but I guess I didn't really know what isolation meant until like I had gone through those couple days. And then I also thought about other people that were going through the same thing, except they were being isolated for COVID and they weren't able to see their families for months.
Yeah. I guess you feel like you're being isolated when you're in lockdown with your whole family, but then it's like you truly feel it when you're fully alone.
Yeah.
That's really scary. So besides from that, when you were back with your family, were there any like good things to come from COVID? Like any positive experiences you want to share?
I guess other than being isolated all the time, like it taught me how to be independent because I feel like I was pretty dependent on my family and friends before COVID had happened. And with COVID, I feel like I was able to teach myself how to be independent and learn that being by yourself is actually okay. And I don't need to be around other people all the time. Even though company is good to have, you don't need to rely on others. And you should be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Do you think that helped you like transitioning into college and like moving to Charlotte?
I think it definitely did, because I would say that I was a pretty dependent person, and since I've learned to be a little more independent, I think it's definitely helped with college, because college is a big step away from high school and being away from home. Like, you're completely independent, your own routine, schedule, so it definitely helped.
How has your COVID experience been during college compared to high school?
I feel like in college and high school, there was no slow step to get here. I feel like, especially with COVID, there wasn't enough preparation from high school to college. And I think that's another reason why a lot of people struggled around our age. So I definitely struggled with that, but it had to do a lot with the independence, but I feel like I've learned a little bit more about independence from COVID.
Yeah. Did you have any like concerns regarding COVID, like having to come to college and eating from the caf and being surrounded by so many people in your dorm? Like, was it scary or anything like that?
I think since I chose to come to a smaller school, that definitely helped, because a lot of people at the same time, like coming from bigger schools, would have been a harder adjustment. And at first I didn't really think about the caf and like eating from there, but I realize now like that's a bigger struggle, because getting exactly what you need is hard for a lot of people. But socially, it can be hard sometimes to talk to people, especially going to a smaller school, but sometimes it can make it easier.
Yeah. Do you think there were any like long-term effects? We talked about positive like effects that had on you like for your independence, but were there any negative long-term impacts from COVID for you?
I think sometimes, since I talk about being independent, sometimes I can be too independent, and again, that can turn into isolation, and I don't realize that that can be a negative thing until someone says like, where have you been? Or like, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I've just been by myself. They're like, why? Like, come hang out or something. And I don't realize that that's an issue.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten COVID during college?
Yes, I have.
What was that experience like for you? Like, what did you do and how did you feel?
Personally, I did not know I had COVID at first until about 5 days after, because I assumed that it was just a really bad cold. And it was more at the time when COVID wasn't as bad, so I was just coughing a lot and nothing had helped. And then I finally took strep and COVID test, and it was COVID. And it was just a really bad cough where I couldn't breathe. But I think the worst part of it was just having to isolate away from people and having to be in a room by myself in the dark, not being able to go outside, which I love, and that makes me really happy. And then just not being able to see the sun, get your vitamin D, just doing homework, and you fall into a dark routine every day until you're out of isolation.
It's really rough. Do you think you appreciate the little things like more now?
I definitely do. Like anytime that I have a simple conversation with someone or hang out with someone for like 30 minutes, because I think that a lot of us don't take advantage of those little things, and the little things are the big things, especially when you actually care about them and like take into consideration how important they are and how important those people are.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Do you have like anything else you want to add? Like maybe a little story from COVID or anything? It's okay if you don't.
No, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie.